All right. How's it going, everyone? Getting a little bit of a late start today. I apologize. A little bit of a mix-up over here. So thanks for bearing with me. And if you're there, thanks for sticking around till we got this going. All right. We are posting that. And okay. All right. I think we're good to go. I think. There we go. Marcus, thanks. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. All right, we're gonna, no delays, let's jump in. All right, hey everybody. My name is Lynn Clementi Hicks. If it's your first time watching, I am the host of this Monday live stream where we share our journey through trying to grow our family. We are all the way in. We are in the deep end of foster training. We have officially, we are swimming in the pool. We've gone through our first week of classes, or the first, I guess, section of classes, which is three. What are they called? I don't know. Units. We're on 3 units. And after the 3rd unit, we have to meet as a class with a trainer and discuss our feelings about it. And that's coming up tomorrow. So on today's episode, I'm going to share with you how, what we learned. Like, not every single, I'm not going to give you a lesson here, but I'm going to share with you what, the overview of the units, that you kind of understand what it's like going through this training. And I'm going to share, more importantly, how I'm feeling about it. If you couldn't pick up on it, I'm feeling a little, overwhelmed, to be honest. So, Amy, I'm glad I could be your reminder that it's Monday. I guess you got my notification that I went live. I hope that it's a good reminder. And hello, Mom. Thanks for saying hi. And Dad, yep, here I am. Sorry for the late start. I got a little caught up at work and then got home, and then my camera wasn't connecting to the stream. So I was like, all right, calm down and troubleshoot. Here we go. So not too bad considering all that. But if you're watching in the replay, you have no idea that we started late. So just disregard that part. If you are watching in the replay, feel free to leave comments. Definitely hit that like button and that subscribe button if you've never subscribed before. If you're already subscribed, don't click it again because you might unsubscribe by accident. I'm just kidding. I'm just trying to be funny and I'm not. Let's get right to what's going on. So Bert and I decided that we are going to do these classes together. We each have to complete the units. It is a self-guided class online through the DCFS of Illinois. So we log into our portals, we see which units have been released to us, and we are able to click through them, watch them, and complete a little question at the end, saying that we've completed it. And you can only get to that if you actually watch it. So Bert and I have, we've got our laptops out and we are watching side by side. One of us has the sound on and the other just make sure we kind of sync up our video. It's adorable. I know. And then there is a packet that came with this that has questions of, kind of testing to give examples of things, recalling our childhood and kind of just making us try to think about the perspective of the birth parents, the kids, and things that we might do when we become foster parents. It's heavy stuff, guys. This is, it's not like, oh, okay, we're going to watch some videos and we're going to get our, certificate and then we're going to have some kids in the house. It's anything but that. And not that I was expecting that, but I want to just make sure if you're thinking about fostering, it is a commitment, and I can understand why some people don't make it through the whole process. And I completely understand other people might go through it going, Lynn, I don't know what you're talking about. It is not that hard. It's not that it's hard, but it can trigger some tough things that you have to think about. I will say kind of like the lasting impression right now, the thing that I'm battling with the most is that this is a really tough thing that we have to do in society that our society has come up with. This is the solution for how to take care of kids that might be in a horrible situation. The thing is that these kids don't really know all the time that they're in that horrible situation. And what we learned in these units is that no matter how minimal the care that they're receiving from their birth parents or whoever they're living with is, they've created an attachment with that person. Okay? Even if it's an abusive relationship, there's some sort of attachment there, and it's their world. That's what they know. Then some stranger comes, rips them away from that person, and goes and puts them in a stranger's home, and that home doesn't look anything like their home. It doesn't have their smells. It doesn't have their things. They come sometimes with nothing with them, right? Just the clothes on their back. And they don't get to call home and say, okay, Mom, I'm safe. I'm with these nice people here. They don't know that you're nice. And if it's not their first foster home and they've had a bad foster experience in the past, they just are losing trust in the system, from that experience. So you're now these, what Bert and I will be to these kids is strangers, complete strangers that took them away from their world. That's the hard part for me, guys. This is tough. You think we're doing something and they're gonna be like, oh, I'm somewhere safe now, thank you. Maybe not even thank you, but they would feel safe. But that's not going to be likely their first feeling. They're going to feel like they're in a very strange place. How do I feel about that? It's tough. I thinking about, someone taking away, a child from me or being separated from a sibling is horrible. That thought of being separated from being taken away. They even did an example, like think about just being ripped out of your home and where you work and all of a sudden just being placed in a completely different place without any contact to anybody that you knew before. And when I thought about that, I'm just like, how am I part of this system? Why is this a good system? But that is the system. And when I talked to Bert about this, he reminded me that we're the good part in this system, if that makes sense. And feel free to add comments here. I could use any sort of reassurance, any outside perspective that you guys have at this point. It's tough. We're not giving up on it. It's just a very heavy thing. So there, I kind of unloaded a lot of it on you right there. So we're some of the other things we learned about is how kids, a lot of times when they get taken from their birth parents, they have to get separated from their siblings because they can't get placed together. While it's they have a sibling right, which means they have a right to get placed together. If and it's not like these kids are being held somewhere until they find the perfect match for them. It is like a very fast thing. Like they take them and then they put them. And if they can't find somewhere to put them together, they separate them. So Bert and I have been talking about how can we be one of those homes where siblings can get placed together. And it's tough. We've got a house with 4 rooms, but the way that our house is set up, it's not an easy solution to be able to accommodate siblings here. So we're working really hard to figure that out. Little bits each day. We have new ideas and yeah, that would work or no, that wouldn't. So we're working through that. The sibling thing is something I really hope that we can help siblings stay together. That's one of the things that really stuck with me. That was Unit 2 last week. Unit 1 last week was another interesting one. And they, when you're going through this training, they'll give you a pre-test and then a post-test with the exact same questions. So at first they want to gauge how much, do you already know or what do you think? And then at the end, they'll test to see that you retain the information from the class you just took. And one of the questions that stuck out to me, the Unit 1 was about the birth parents. And one said, which of these are things that you are responsible for as a foster parent? And it was multiple choice. And I think one of them was like making sure the kids get to their visitations on time, mentoring the birth parents, and having an open communication with the birth parents. And I'm like, okay, yeah, getting to the visits on time, that seems like the right answer. Because being a mentor to the birth parents that seemed like, no, that's not what I signed up for. Well, I was wrong. It was D, all the above. And, yeah, it surprised me that we are supposed to kind of, if in the situations where we can, set a good example for parenting to the birth parents. I think this is more around like, if the birth parent, if you're on, they used weird, not weird. They used examples such as, if you're at a park with the birth parents and the kid's doing that, something they shouldn't, and the birth parent is, calling for the kid or telling the kid to stop doing something and the kid's not responsive and they're yelling, you as the foster parent can say, hey, try talking to him this way. And, okay. So we're supposed to be coaching them on how to parent. I don't know. I know that this is something that is a formality, something that is part of the program because it needs to be, there so that it's like, oh, this is the protocol. Now, does it ever happen to the protocol? Probably not. Every freaking situation is different. Every kid, every family, every parent is different. But it was interesting, how the emphasis on that we're supposed to be co-parenting with the birth parents for each child. And then not only for the duration that they're staying with you, but they ask you to maintain that relationship for life, which was also a surprise to me. I hadn't even thought about it when these kids, go home and, goal is reunification. Yeah, sure, it would be great if the kids remembered us and maybe, someday reached out to let us know how they're doing. But no, the expectation is actually we will continue to communicate with them, if the birth parents allow, I guess, and make sure, that they know we're still here, that we support them. Again, that's the program. I have no idea how many foster parents do that. When I think of these stories of people who are fostering 80 kids, they've been doing it for years and years, and they say, oh, I've had over 80 foster kids. How are you keeping up with 80 kids? I don't know. So it's interesting in my head, which is very noisy this past week, sorting out, what is protocol and what is realistic expectations. Does that make sense? Okay. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Yeah, exactly. So be perfect, be superhuman, all the things. Just check all the boxes, please. It's not easy. And yes, so Kelly, I'm going to bring up Kelly's comment, and I want to say with all of this, it might sound like I'm kind of having a negative perspective on this. Now, the one thing that continues to pull me towards this whole program is the idea that the kids are eventually going to connect. And it doesn't always happen, but that you get to watch this child who comes to you with probably no trust. They're closed off. They probably don't trust adults, depending on, what the situation was. And slowly trusting, slowly getting close, slowly building an attachment. And I think that's the reward. That's the reward right there. And I think that's why foster parents do it, is to have that slow process turn into something that is hopefully lasting. So yeah, it's a more delayed gratification for your support instead of instant gratification. And 100%, and I think going back to that thing, these kids are being ripped out of their home. They have a lot of distrust of society and the program and everything, and they may never appreciate you. They may never understand your drive to do it. And I'm hoping that we'll be what they tell you to do, because there's the reason that the system gets a little makes it so that kids kind of bounce from foster home to foster home is that the parents give up if the kids are unresponsive or if they are not behaving after or unable to discipline, and so they give up. The parents give up and they say, sorry, this kid's just not a match here. But what they emphasized in Unit 3 was sticking with it, because you're going to have to try things and they may not work, and you have to just try something else and keep on trying until it finally works. And it has to be patience, and you might just have to keep trying the same thing over and over. Now, I have seen a few more comments here. Yes, it is it's how are you supposed to maintain a relationship if the foster kids are like a revolving door? And I think the hope is that they aren't a revolving door, that they stay with you until reunification, they go back home. That's the perfect world, right? But yeah, if it is a revolving door and you've got all this respite care, or if you've got these kids that are just a stop over here, while they, wait to get placed with a family member, rather maybe not their birth parents, but they try to get them in with a family member. Yeah, it's going to be really tough, really tough. And thank you. I see why this sounds scary to you. I appreciate you saying that, because I feel like it feels like these feelings are bad. Like I shouldn't be scared. Like I shouldn't be feeling like incapable. And I know I'm capable, but it feels like I'm incapable at times. So the good thing of the course is probably that it helps set realistic expectations of what may happen. I think that is what it's trying to hit the big picture of what happens. There's no way that they're going to be like, oh, this is, if your foster kid is pulling your cat's tail, here's what to do. It's not that at all. It's much bigger picture things, and just remember to be patient and remember to try different things. Remember to connect. They talk about, behavior in Unit 3 a lot. That was the longest session that we had to go through, and it started talking about what if they're acting out at a certain time or in a pattern, always demanding certain things. Every time you give a child something that they want, it helps with attachment. That was a big thing, and that was really I was kind of like, duh, but also oh, yeah, that makes sense. If a baby's hungry and you give it food and you stare into its eyes while you're giving it food, it's gonna be like, oh, you are a good person that gives me something when I need it. If kids are neglected and they cry and cry and cry, and then they have to start screaming in order for someone to come pay attention to them, then their habit's going to be, well, I just have to scream in order to get what I need. So we might get these children that are, making a big demand rather than just asking for something. And we may see that as acting out or behavioral problems. We may not, but people could, the people in the training. And, or we could without the training. But the thing that we're supposed to do is okay, we know that the kid likes this or, needs this. We know that it usually happens around this. Let's have it ready for them so that way they know that they don't have to scream for it. So those are the kinds of suggestions that they made, just like a heads up, this is why they're behaving that way, is because of where they came from. There's nothing wrong with the kid. It's because of the environment. And of course they talk about nature or nurture. They talk about, the things that might hold kids back, based on, things that they couldn't control, in the womb or from their parents or from genetics or whatever it may be. But a lot of it was based on the environment that they come from. Yeah, so have you talked to any foster parents? I'd like to know their perspective. So we have talked to a few foster parents, and we have a few more kind of in our phone book to reach out to. We have an open dialogue with one. But honestly, we haven't talked to anyone since we started this training. It's been a lot of conversations with me and Bert, kind of just doing our own processing, because I don't really know what to talk to other foster parents about yet. But I do think that the class tomorrow is going to be, not a class, tomorrow is a discussion. Bert will be correcting me on that. But the discussion tomorrow, I think, will be the starting place for me to start and talking to other people to understand how everyone's interpreting it and can bounce things off, and the trainers, they are there to see what questions we're asking, what concerns we have, and I'm looking forward to that a ton. And I do think that we will, as we go through this, be reaching out to those other foster parents to see their experiences, hear their stories, but yeah, we're not quite there yet. Thanks, Amy. You just care so much and want to do a good job. I do. I think it's a flaw that I I want to do a good job at everything, and I tell myself that I'm okay with failure and I'm okay, learning from mistakes, but there's still something not quite clicking, and I do really just always want to do things perfectly. And I'm talking to my therapist about it for years. We're working on it, okay? Yes, and great, Kelly. You have, any new job or role, you have to start at the beginning, and that's right. We can't know something until we learn it. We're gonna make mistakes, but I think that Bert and I, because of the way we communicate and work together, I do honestly believe we're gonna be okay working through this, just like any parents are, right? Like, you don't get it right on the first try when you're parenting, no matter how good you are. Oh, Marcus, thank you. Oh, I hope that it's a good indication, but thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. Have to stop calling them it. Sure, he or she or they. You're correct, Kelly. I will work on that. Thank you. Okay. Dad's saying, not giving up makes sense. Successful birth parents can't just give up. They have to work through it. Exactly. And these birth parents, now we know a little bit more what happens with them. Is the state, there's a whole chart, and it's specific to Illinois that we were given, though there's a overall kind of chart that works for across any state. They're going to have the kids, they're going to have the birth parent's going to go to some sort of a hearing. There's going to be an investigation. There's all these kind of steps that it takes before a kid's even taken away from their parents. And then how many court dates there are before a parent is reunited with their child, because they have to prove that they have overcome the dangerous environment that the kid was taken from. And I guess, they want us as the foster parents to always tell the kids, that their birth parents love them, that their birth parents are good people, and never say anything bad about the birth parents, because that's not going to help the situation. And that's fine. I believe that everyone has good in them, so that's not a problem for me, but that is something that they go through in training. Okay, I imagine a kid in that situation will put you through a lot of tests just to see if they can trust you. 100%. Oh, yeah. I mean, I thought about that, and I tested my parents so much. I mean, what kid doesn't, right? You got to know what you can get away with. And Bert and I have had that talk, like, if we discipline a kid and say that there's a penalty if they do something, or penalty, that's not the right word, but you know what I mean, that we have to stick with it too. We can't have false, you guys know what I'm trying to say, I'm sure of it. Sorry, can't find those words right now though. Oh, okay, this is great that you say that. So you're getting more training than first-time birth parents get. Okay, seriously, as I was going through these, I turned to Bert and I go, Bert, all parents should be taking this, especially, the attachment one and the discipline and, relationships with siblings, and how important those are. Like, yeah, all parents should have to go through that. All grown-ups should have to go through that to understand child development and everything. Yeah, why aren't we doing this? Seriously. Oh my gosh. Consequences. Thank you, Marcus, for helping me with that word. Exactly. If we say there's going to be consequences, we have to follow through with those consequences. Yeah, it's all been a lot to digest with the classes and just the internal dialogue I'm having, but I'm really thankful I can share this with you guys, and that you're so supportive. I'm having a really hard time doing that for myself, and I don't know if that's something wrong with me or if it's just something everybody goes through, but I feel really incapable because I can't tell myself, that I'm good enough for it. I know I will be. I'm not giving up. I think Bert's going to be amazing at this. The way he supports me and talks to me, the way he's helps me get through things. I mean, he's going to do that for kids, no problem. I mean, I couldn't do this without him, that's for sure. We're both going to bring different things to the this these relationships to these kids. We're both going to have our strengths that are different, and I think it's going to just make us awesome foster parents. I'm really emotional about all this. Thanks, Marcus. Just being human. I know we're surrounded by wonderful family and friends. I say that all the time, and I mean it. We couldn't be doing it without that. I think the other really big thing I'm just gonna let it out here, guys. This is not foster related. This is Lynn related. My due date is coming up from if I was still pregnant, and it's tough because we're not pregnant again. You know, they say, oh, you got pregnant, it means you can do it again, but we're not. And it's a really tough thing that we're supposedly still, like, if it happens, great. But, you know, I took you through this journey all of last year, like that hope and that hope and fail. I'm over it. I'm just so over it. I hate that I wasn't able to get pregnant and stay pregnant and make a baby. And I just really want a family. And another thing with fostering is that they tell you if you're doing this to make a family, you're in it for the wrong reasons. You have to be here for the kids. And Bert and I had a talk, and he's like, yeah, we are here for the kids. I mean, that might not have been what we originally thought, but we've talked about it for hours and hours. Now we're doing it for the kids. This is what we've chose. This is the path we're going down together. This is going to be the life that we chose. And it's not going to be having a baby and raising it, you know, from birth, from carrying it in the womb, from birth all the way until it grows up into an adult. There's a good chance a lot of these foster kids aren't going to make it there. Because no matter how much we love them and how much we're here for them, there's just certain things that are beyond our control. It's really tough, you know. It's really tough to compare, and we shouldn't be comparing, and we shouldn't be shouldn'ting. It's just, I'm still accepting the change in path, and no matter what plans we make, right, we can't expect them to all come true. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Kelly. I think we will be. We're going to be amazing parents. Dad's saying it's an old line that says new babies don't come with an instruction manual, although there are millions of books available, but none specific to your kid. That's true. Absolutely. I've seen that all of our nephews, all of our friends' kids, all of them are so freaking different and special and awesome. And it's so cool to see how our friends and family parent and how the parenting is different. And I get it. I don't get it. Like, I hate that it happens, that there's, you know, this competitiveness with parenting. And if you are showing up for your kid and loving them and having an attachment with them and not neglecting them or physically abusing them or sexually abusing them, you're probably doing all right as a parent, I promise. Oh my God, boogers like crazy. I have no tissue here, sorry. Alrighty. Amy, it's okay. Thank you if you're crying with me. If I'm making you guys cry, I'm sorry. Thank you for crying with me if you are. These are feelings. It feels good to let it out here. Thank you for the hugs. Thank you. All right. There's a good chance when you get a child in your home, you'll forget about conceiving, and it could still happen. That's true. And I have heard that story many times too. And yeah, I know. And it would be like, oh, but we just got all this fostering stuff straightened out. Well, no, we don't have room for a baby. Plans. Alrighty. So that's where I'm at, guys. That's where, Bert has been a rock through this, honestly. Every morning I think I bring a new, like, this is what's on my mind to him, and he listens, and we hug. And then I go off and I say, okay, I'm just gonna go on go on with my day now, do the things I'm supposed to do. A few other updates. Our bathroom, guys, we had someone come and start on our bathroom last Thursday, and they got it level. We have a flat floor in our bathroom. It's the only flat floor we probably have in our whole house. I'm very proud of it. And they did a great job. They are going to be coming back tomorrow for grouting and sealing, and then we'll be able to put our toilet back and our vanity back, and I can't wait to not have to go all the way upstairs to use the bathroom anymore when we're down here. And and it looks really nice. I can't wait. I have been I'm getting ready for my trip to Spain in June with my soccer team. We have a team meeting tomorrow. I'm excited to just keep pumped and got my eyes on that, something for myself. Bert is super jealous that he's not going, and I'm really glad that wait, I didn't mean to say, like, I'm glad I'm going without him, but I'm really glad that I'm doing it for me. I think it'll be a trip of a lifetime. I'm learning Spanish, and I'm not so bad at it. I'm very proud of myself, so pat on the back for that one. I am a little bit nervous that, we're going to be getting our license, hopefully licensed by, May, and we might get a placement before I leave for Spain. And then I'll be like, oh no, I wish I was home, but we'll see what happens. I can't stress out about that. It might not happen. Then the cats are healthy. The cats have been outside. There's a black cat, thanks to Marcus, that we've been feeding, that now, it is not afraid of us, and it's been hanging out with our cats in the backyard, the three of them, regularly. It's bizarre. So I don't know. This cat is pretty freaking cute, and I think it thinks it's one of ours, though it hops over the fence whenever Joe is like growling at it, or Alex is growling at it. It's pretty cute. So that's what's going on in our world. Thanks for hanging out with me today, you guys. Oh, thank you so much. I love that. You are not alone. I love that phrase, and I feel like I haven't said it in a while, and it is a good reminder to everybody. No matter what you're going through, you're not alone. You've got support around you. Use your support, and just remember, you don't have to be doing it by yourself. Thank you, Laura. Oh, I do. Oh, I feel brave. I do feel brave, and sometimes brave and scared can go, at the same time, right? Yay for flat floors. Thanks, Marcus. As an American, you are not expected to speak the local language, but isn't it more impressive when an American can and does? And there's me trying to be, perfectionist again, but I think it's fun. I've always wanted to learn Spanish anyway. This is the perfect motivation for it, especially because there's a large amount of time before we actually go. So it's like, I'm going to use that large amount of time to get as far as I can with speaking. It's very motivating. I'm in the Obsidian League in Duolingo. You guys can follow me on Duolingo if you want to. Just cheer me on when I do good. I really hope that you get your rainbow baby. This is, yeah. I hope I do too someday. But also, we all have to know. I don't know. We all have to know our limits, and my limit of going through another round of IVF or IUI or fertility treatments of any kind, I hit that limit. I think that I am. That's not, that's just where I'm at with it, and that's why we've decided to go in the route of fostering. So yeah, Marcus, of course. I want to be as fluent in Spanish as you are in English, Marcus, someday. All right, guys, I feel like this is a great stopping point. I feel like we covered a lot of emotional things today. I encourage you, no matter what you're going through, if you're carrying it around all by yourself, maybe reach out to a friend or a family member. Just have a chat with them. Just let them know you need someone to listen, and you don't need any answers or to solve any problems. So I think I'm saying this as a reminder to myself, because I feel like I've been doing a lot of this in my head. So thank you for being here for me. I really appreciate it. Tomorrow is our discussion. I can't wait to tell you next Monday about it and how we're feeling on things. And I hope you have a great week. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next Monday. Thanks so much for being there for me, guys. I'm here for you too. Bye. Aw, Marcus, you're so sweet. Thanks, guys.